thought I'd just do a short video on trigonometry. Now trigonometry to me is like a way of showing how lengths of objects and things relate to one another and how they change. Trig is a way of showing how one length changes in relation to another, and the thing that varies the lengths is called the angle. It's always well, the part of trig that we're going to look at is to do with right-angled triangles. A right-angled triangle is obviously a triangle that has one angle that's 90 degrees, because the 90 degrees is the right angle. It makes a kind of L shape. It's like a corner, you know. And one thing that we have to know is what all the different sides are called. And the side that's opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse, and it's also the longest side. It's always the longest side of a right angle triangle. Okay? But there are, of course, two other sides, because triangles have three sides. So which is which? And it's a trick question because we can't label them yet, and I'll show you why. Because say we've got two different points of reference here. We've got one compass this way round and another compass this way around. We've got a person here and a destination. Which compass bearing is the destination from the person? And we can't possibly say without choosing one of the two compasses to be the one that we believe in, because they can't both be right. So if we choose one of them, say this one, we can easily say that his destination is in the west bearing, or the westbound heading, if you like. And that's similar to triangles, because first of all, before we define what the lengths are called, we have to decide which angle we're going to use. You don't use the right angle. You can either use this one here or this one here, and it's just a case of choosing one of them. So we've decided our viewpoint, which is like deciding the compass that we chose earlier. If we say this one here is the angle in question, then we can then label the sides. So if this is our angle A in this corner, everything's in relation to that. So this side, which is directly opposite the angle, if you look at that straight line going here, this side is opposite the angle, so we call it the opposite side. This side is adjacent or next to the angle, so we call it the adjacent side. Adjacent just means next to. So all the sides are labelled with respect to the angle that we chose, apart from, of course, the hypotenuse is always the one opposite the right angle, and it's always the longest side. The hypotenuse to me, it's a bit of a crazy word, which just means the longest side of a right angle triangle. The opposite, like I just said, is the one that's opposite the angle in question, and the adjacent side is next to or adjacent to the angle that we're interested in. And there's something like a memory aid or a mnemonic called TOA or TOA, and what this does is try to explain to us and remind us the main trig functions. We've got sine, which is the SO part, we've got cos or cosine, which is the CAH, and the tangent function is TOA. And what that means is the sine of an angle is the length of the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse, and the tangent of an angle is equal to the length of the opposite divided by the length of the adjacent. So when we talk about lengths, they're the lengths of the sides of the triangle, and the sine, cos and tan functions are always functions of an angle. So when working with trig problems, we'll either be asked to find the sides of the triangles, like the lengths of those sides, or the angles in between the sides. And you should always be given enough information for the answer, otherwise it's not a proper question, is it? But then you may be asked to find further information. Once you've found out, say, two of the sides, you can find a third.